Welcome to the Awaken Life podcast with Scott Landis. And today, my guest is Susan Piver. She's a New York Times best-selling author of many books, including the award Not to Be Afraid of Your Own Life, The Wisdom of a Broken Heart, Start Here Now, an open-hearted guide to the path and practice of meditation, and the Four Noble Truths of Love, Buddhist Wisdom for Modern Relationships. Susan has been a practicing Buddhist since 1993 and graduated from a Buddhist seminary in 2004. She's an internationally acclaimed meditation teacher known for her ability to translate ancient practices into modern life. Her work has been featured on The Oprah Show, Today, CNN, and in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and others. In 2013, she launched the Open Heart Project, the largest virtual mindfulness community in the world with 20,000 members, of which I am one of those 20,000 for the last year or so. And most recently, she has written a book called The Buddhist Enneagram, Nine Paths to Warriorship, which weaves together the ancient wisdom of Buddhism with the magical insight of the Enneagram, which it offers a whole new way of understanding ourselves, our loved ones, and our tricky people too, as you said.
Mhm.
Susan, welcome to the Waking Life podcast. Thank you for being here. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes. So, this is a treat for me. First of all, it's not very often that I have best-selling authors. I have had a few, so that's exciting. And but the thing that's really exciting to me is one. The reason I first reached out to you to get on the podcast is I saw that you were. It was way back when you're still in the writing phase of the Enneagram book, and I love the Enneagram. It's been transformative to me, and I know that it's been to you. Um, and so I wanted to get your take on it. But also, I've never had the opportunity to interview someone who is a Buddhist practitioner on the podcast, and I definitely want to have that as a part of the scope of what I have on this podcast. um,
Great.
the brand is Awaken Life, and I know that that is an important name to you as well. As recently I was able to acquire awakenlife.com, and that's actually how I first met you, was because I was like, oh, I want that website, who owns it, and your name come up, and I didn't know you, but now I've been following you, as I said, for about a year through your Open Heart Project.
You never
So
know how you're going to
fill in the
meet someone.
gaps.
You never
Sorry, say
know how
that
you're
again.
going to meet someone. You never
Yeah,
know how you are
exactly.
going to meet someone. That's great.
Yeah. So fill in the gaps with that. I just brought up a whole bunch of bullet points. Where do you want to start?
Um, where do I want to start? I'd love to hear about your interest in the Enneagram, and that will give me some idea of where to go.
Okay, awesome. Well, so I do a lot of work with relationships, marriages. The people I usually work with are married entrepreneurs, and I first discovered the Enneagram myself just a few years ago, and um, after looking at Myers-Briggs and DISC and Strength Finders, I just found that it was particularly helpful for relationships, understanding myself, understanding my wife, and understanding how our different types get along. And I've just been pretty obsessed with it ever since. Make every couple that I work with, take the assessment to find out, to get a start of where they are on there. And it's, as you know, as you probably can speak to, a lifelong journey of discovery. So, did I answer your
It
question?
is. Yes, thank you. It is a lifelong journey, and it's great to take the assessments. But unlike Myers Briggs and Strengths Finders and Colby's, there is no single instrument that is a reliable source for your Enneagram number. So that
Mm-hmm.
can be disappointing and daunting, but there is no test really for the Enneagram. That said, if you want to find your type, take all the free tests and see if one or two or three numbers don't come up more often than others. And then those are data points, they're not results, but they
Mm-hmm.
can be really important doorways to walk through to find your own type, because the Enneagram,
Mm-hmm.
as I gather you've discovered, is so nuanced and so rich and so powerful and so focused on what you can't see about yourself. There is no test to reveal what you can't see. There are only
That's good.
tests that reveal what you can see.
Mm-hmm.
So tests are, like I say, they're a good start, but they're not the final say. You are the only one
Mm-hmm.
that can discover your.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, case in point, I literally just had a client's result. So I mean, I do start with with an assessment to kind of get a start. But
Mm-hmm.
as you said, it's just a starting point. But his came back tied at 3 and 6 with
Mm-hmm.
1 point low on 9. 1 point. So could be 3, 6, or 9 as a starting point. Could be
Mm-hmm.
not 3, 6, or 9, but at least gives us a
Really.
place to start poking around and checking, right?
And 3, 6, and 9 are the inner triangle of the Enneagram. So they're connected to
Right.
each other. Threes can turn into nines, can turn into sixes, can turn into threes. Not that you change number, but there's a strong relationship between those three types. And we don't know which one came first in this person's case, but it's a good starting point for sure.
Right. Yeah. So maybe we could dive into the possibilities of that. So does that tell you anything if just that? Okay. Essentially, let's just assume 3, 6, and 9 are tied
Mm-hmm.
for kind of like indicators of you kind of kind of look like this one and this one and this one. If you were to look at that result, and if you didn't know anything else, would there be any like sort of questions I would bring up for you to start asking to help that person discover which one might be theirs?
Absolutely. So the Enneagram, as you know, is 9 types. Ennea is the Greek prefix for nine. And there are 9 types in three groups of three, according to center of
Mm-hmm.
intelligence. 5, 6, and 7 are relate to the intelligence of the mind, thinking and rationales. 8, 9, and 1 embody the intelligence of instinct. 2, 3, and 4 embody the intelligence of emotion. So we all have thoughts and instincts and emotions, but for each of us, one of those is predominant. Now, what's interesting about 3, 6, and 9 is that they're 3 is the emotional triad, 6 is the mental triad, and 9 is the intuitive triad. So it's all over the place.
All
Those
right.
are really different. So you could start, if those were your results, 3, 6, and 9, to start to assess, well, which of those forms of intelligence is strongest for me? So if thinking, if mentation is your strongest form of intelligence, then when things don't go your way, thinking speeds up because you go to your defenses. The natural defenses of a thinking type is to think more. What about this? And what if they said that? And if they put this over here, I'll walk over there. And thinking just gets speedier and speedier. That's called
Mm-hmm.
anxiety. So if that's your default, I mean, we all have anxiety and think a lot of thoughts and so on, but that's important to note. Now, if you're a 9 on the intuitive triad, when things don't go your way, whether you're an 8, a 9, or a 1, there's a tendency toward anger. Get angry at the thing that is challenging you as opposed to think harder about it. And there's various ways. I can't be recorded.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, do that. That'd be good.